Welcome. This is part 2 of 2 where I'm going to show you an overview of the tools for objects. So let's put another cube down, click and drag, select it, and we're in the objects menu now, and these are the tools. And in part 1 I talked about move through smooth, and I'm going to talk about the rest this time. Let's first create a second cube. And you click in the object and your spacebar will create the second one. Move it over a little bit and scale it down so we have 2 of them like that. Let's talk about merge. So I select the big one, I control click the other one, so both are selected, and OK. It creates a new object. And what merge does is it creates a grouping of the objects. And the 2 objects are still there, and I'll show you how I know this. When you go to polygons and you click on this one and you delete it, you can see the big cube is still there. Now let's contrast this with unite. So I'm going to go back to the 2 cubes. I click on the big one, I control click on the little one, and I unite. And unite creates a new object as well, and you can see it changed the geometry. And with unite it doesn't group the objects, instead it tries to create truly a new object. And how do I know this? Let's go back to polygons and delete that one. Click it and delete it, and there you go. You can see the inner cube is not, the big cube is not there anymore. There's an inner hole, so it simplified the geometry and made one skin for the whole object. So it's different than with merging. Merging groups, and it's really fast, even for complicated objects. Uniting is pretty slow for the engine. And if you have complicated objects, it will take a while for the engine to compute the new geometry for the single object. Okay, let's go back. Okay, subtract. Let's click on the big one and control click on the little one and subtract. And you can see the little object took a bite out of the big one. It's subtracted from the big one. That's why it's called subtract. Now I clicked on the big one first and then the little one. Let's change the order and you'll see what happens. Oops, I don't want to go back that far, that way. Yes, so we click on the little one and then control click on the big one. Let's do it again. The little one, control click on the big one and subtract. So the big one took a bite out of the little one. It really means that it made it smaller. Okay, merge, subtract, unite. Let's go back to the 2 cubes. Optimize. Let's go to polygon. I'll show you something. Shift, select all of them. Selects all the polygons, and we triangulate. And that just means that it uses triangles instead of other like squares and other things. Some rendering engines need triangles to render correctly. So let's go back to objects and shift, select everything and optimize. So optimize, there you go. Optimize tries to get rid of the extra geometry that is not absolutely needed, and those extra lines were not needed. So it's useful if you have a complicated object and you think the geometry could be maybe simplified. You can try the optimize button. Mirror. Let's select them both again. Shift select and move and mirror along the Z, the blue one. So duplicates and mirrors along the axis. Sculpt. Let's get rid of these. Sculpting is not good with these objects. So let's select everything and delete. Let's put a sphere down. Select it. Now smooth Smooth. There's another way you can use smooth. It's for making things look good in a 3D rendering, but it's also to make things sculptable. So let's smooth several times and sculpt. The range, how big your tool is, the strength, how strong your tool is. So let's try it out. You click in it and you can see it drags part of it out because the strength is positive. Let's make it negative. Now it dents it. Let's make the range really small. Let's twirl it a little bit like that. Now it makes really little tiny dimples. Fun tools for artists if you want to sculpt a head or a face. Another fun artist tool is paint. Like this, nothing happens because you're painting in the same color as the object. So let's pick a different color and let's paint. So click and drag, click and drag. You can mix colors or put them together like that. Same thing again, the radius of the brush and the strength. And flat paint, you can paint polygons. So let's turn that on and then you can see it paints exact polygons. And without flat paint, it's sort of fuzzy on the edges. Okay, slice. Let's go to top view. And slice works, you click, hold the mouse and drag and then release the mouse. So click, drag and release. And it cuts your object in two. The only problem with slice is it's a little bit imprecise. Now there is another tutorial to make 3D rocks, and that shows a really good use of slice. So make sure you check out that tutorial. Okay, that's the end of part 2. Thanks for watching. You can watch more tutorials at figuro.io.